Let's go. Welcome back to Running with Coach Tori.
And Jeff.
And we are bringing you your running topics of the week. If you're going to listen on your long run or if you're looking for things to talk about with your running group, we've got you covered. So, instead of giving an update, because I feel like since you and I are both not training for anything interesting, there's like no good updates. But I wanted to play a little guessing game very quickly about, since I feel like it's kind of going to be marathon season soon, right? It's like anyone who's running a marathon is getting into their training at this point. So I was thinking about celebrity marathons, and I was going to ask you if you wanted to guess what some celebrities' marathon times are.
Absolutely. Let's bring it. Come on.
Okay. Well, first of all, too, Gemini on my phone put like the randomest list of people together. So there's that. So first of all, do you know who Matt James is?
I do not offhand.
Okay. You probably wouldn't. He's like an influencer person. He was the Bachelor at one point, like famously had like a horrible Bachelor season, ended with like controversy, all that stuff. But he's a runner. He runs with, oh my gosh, I'm going to draw a huge blank. Who does he run with? Oh my gosh, I don't know. He runs with a famous like woman distance runner often. And it's, anyone who's listening is probably screaming her name into the void. But, so you don't really know him, but what do you think his best marathon time is?
Let's see. I'm going to say he's probably a young, fit, athletic individual. I'm going to go with 3:15.
3 hours and 41 seconds. So you're close.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I need at least a 15-minute buffer. That's sort of like.
Yeah. All right. Ashton Kutcher.
He's on the cusp of breaking 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean he's like a super fit guy. I think he like was a like D1 football player or something maybe,
Okay.
and then he like his entire Bachelor season was like basically a Peloton commercial. So, yeah, that's my memory of it. He's like 6'5", like long, lanky. Anyway, so yeah, 3 hours, pretty good. Ashton Kutcher, I feel like you know him, right?
Oh, certainly know Ashton Kutcher. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you
And
think?
that 70s show is his first guess big hit. Yep.
Yes. Guesses on him.
Yeah, he seems like he's not a heavy dude, so I'm gonna say he's probably, at least body structure wise, I think he seems like he would be there. So I'm gonna go. He's even faster than the Bachelor. I'm gonna go 2 hours and 59. No, that seems crazy. I'm gonna go because that's like serious marathoner. I'm gonna go back with 3:15 and use my buffer to be close enough.
3:54:01
Yeah,
in 2022.
Yeah, as I started saying that, I'm thinking maybe, three hours is a legit marathon. I mean, you're a runner.
Yeah.
So as I started saying it that he was fast, I'm thinking, I don't know that he could be faster than 3 hours. So, all right.
All right, we'll do a couple more. For some reason, there's like no women on this list, but
women aren't getting the love these days, man.
I know. Neve Schulman, do you know who that is?
No.
The guy who was the initial Catfish, the original Catfish, and then he started the show Catfish.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen the show Catfish. I've never been catfished, and I shouldn't have said that because now someone's going to catfish me.
I mean, luckily you're not dating, so like you're probably safer.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, right. Just for a little context, he also does. He runs like as a blind guide sometimes for marathons.
Oh, I thought you say as a blind guy, and I'm thinking I didn't think he was blind. I didn't know he was blind.
Yeah, that's why I got catfished. Yikes.
Yes.
Never mind. No. Yeah. So Neve Schulman, what are your guesses?
Oh, yeah. So I'm gonna say 3.5.
2:58:54 in 2018. Yeah, I guess he's a runner.
It's hard to tell, man, because I mean, just knowing someone, just looking at someone, it's hard to guess what they, because it's cardio, it's discipline, it's a lot of things that go into it, and just looking at someone is probably impossible to tell.
Oh my gosh, yeah. All right, we'll do 2 more since there are some women on this list. All right, Pamela Anderson.
Oh, Pam Anderson. She doesn't strike me as the fittest person in the world, but
Well, she ran on the beach all those years, right?
Yeah, yes. She was Baywatch, right? Was
I
she on
think
Baywatch?
so, right?
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think Hasselhoff is a runner and a fit dude.
Is
But I'm
he?
gonna say, I'm gonna go 4 hours.
Okay. I don't know if this doesn't say it's her personal best, but it says she ran a marathon in 5:41.
Okay, all
So
right. It may
there's
not be her
that.
personal best, but I'm gonna give her some respect to finishing a marathon. Yeah,
Right?
yeah. And my first one, I would think I was over 5 hours.
You think?
Yeah, well, I know I was, and
Oh,
I wanted to pretend I wasn't really knowing that it was over five
it
hours.
was close.
Yeah, I mean, but my first half marathon was fantastic. The second half was at least twice as long as my first half.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
All right, last one. Sarah Palin.
Sarah Palin, yes, the political person from Alaska, I believe.
Yes.
Um, I'm going to say that she is doesn't strike me as the fittest person in the world. I'm going to go 5 hours and 30 minutes.
Wow, you did her dirty. She 3:59:36 in 2025 or
Man,
no,
she beat me,
20.
man. She beat me again.
Yeah, I mean she's in Alaska. You got to like run 6 miles just to get to like a bus stop,
I thought
right?
they would use the dog sled to get there.
Mm,
Yeah. So if you're using
all
a
right.
dog sled, you're not getting very fit.
I mean maybe. So yeah, so that is the list. There's definitely more. Maybe we'll play this again because that's kind of fun. Um,
I like this. Yeah.
yeah, a little trivia. All right. Do you want to get into some stories? What's going on in the running world? Oh, well, I guess I'll do. It's not really a story, but sad news in the running world. There's always, I feel like you can't go a week without some woman going missing on a run. Most recently, where is that young girl, 23 years old? I can't find her name at the moment. Went missing on a run in, was it Durham County or something? And they just found a body, not confirmed that it's her, but just always sad to
Durham
see.
County. I'm going to guess that's North Carolina, maybe South Carolina.
Yeah, and I could be, obviously I'm like, I can't find the article and I'm blanking on all the actually important details, but I feel like if you know the story, you
I
kind of
didn't
know
see
what I'm.
that story. Yeah, that's definitely terribly sad for the family, for anyone who knows her. I mean, it's sort of a sad state of affairs that women can't go on a run without being concerned. And I know
Mm-hmm.
these are 1 in a million, but it doesn't feel like 1 in a million when you're a woman running. And
No.
as a guy, I can't even speak to that. So
Oh, I know. Well, and the only, I guess, like potentially Jenny Hall. Sorry, Jenny, that I forgot her name, but it seems like at least at the moment they're thinking it's no foul play. So then it's just like kind of what
yeah, that's
happened, but
yeah, that's a really odd one. If a woman disappears, body is found, and there's no foul play.
right. But also they didn't even
Oh man, that seems like this is probably foul play.
right, and unless she's like lost in the woods and the elements, but it hasn't been that many days. Yeah, just like a kind of crazy thing, but it is a sad place in the world where you can't really feel safe going. My friend actually just asked me, she's like, oh, I'm going walking on this trail with a friend if you like wanted to meet us to run around so you can like feel safer while you're running while the kids are at school. And it's just like, yeah, things you don't have to think about. But then I remember back to on the old podcast we talked to Jordan, who ran that 200 miles through the woods in Australia. I think you weren't on that episode, but I don't know if you remember that story.
I do.
And I asked her like about being, she was alone and it was nighttime, and if she was, had any of those fears, and she was like, no, she's like, I don't, I'm in the woods. I know the woods. I know how to deal with the animals, and I'm not worried. So just like a different perspective and
Yeah, yeah.
surprising.
And I'm sure it's one of these things where she's done it for such a long time that maybe the first time you do it, you're not comfortable, but you've done it 1,000 times, and she knows it like the back of her hand. So she doesn't feel that same fear that maybe I would say most women feel when they're out alone.
Right.
So Yeah, and I think that probably, I mean, at least from my conversations with people, that it seems like it almost always crosses their mind. Certainly when you take a plane trip, I think it always crosses people's mind that, oh, this could crash.
Right.
Like, it's the same thing for women when they're walking alone in a parking lot leaving work. I don't think they dwell on it necessarily every time, but it certainly crosses their mind, like what would happen if there's somebody out here in the parking lot. So
Oh yeah. Well, and I actually read something at one point about why like women are usually the ones watching like true crime documentaries. I know you're familiar with being really into the true
women
crime.
and me, and now
Yeah.
I'm hooked on true crime documentaries now.
But they say because women try to picture the like, what if, what would I do, kind of run through the scenario. So I don't know if there's any truth to that or not. But now that we're taking a dark turn,
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if this is going to be an uplifting story, but this past weekend was the U.S. Indoor Nationals.
hmm
So one of the I love watching videos now. I'm like a big, huge YouTube video guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to watch all the world records that were run this year as my goal. So, including the race walking one, which I haven't watched yet, but I will. But this isn't a world record that I was watching, but it was Nikki Holtz.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was running the 1500-meter indoor, and she won.
Nikki's
But
impressive.
yeah, she is impressive, and she won the 5,000, I believe, like the day or two before.
hmm
So yeah, impressive runner, no doubt. This story is not about her.
Okay.
As they lined up for the race, it may have been Kara Goucher. I'm not sure if it was or not that was doing the commentating, but she talked about Shelby Houlihan, and Shelby came in fourth in the race. And the reason I think she's the story in this case is, let me give you a little bit of background on her. In
hmm
2016, she finished 11th in the Rio Olympics, and she was a top American. In 2018, she set the 5,000-meter American record. In 2019, she was fourth in the 1,500 meters at the World Championships and set the American record. In 2020, she broke her own 5,000-meter American record. So she's the best woman middle distance or long distance runner that we have in that window of that 4 year window. In 2021, she gets banned for 4 years for anabolic steroids. Um, and at the time, she claimed it was a tainted burrito that she had eaten, which makes it a little bit interesting. I doubt it was a tainted burrito, but I think everyone always looks for maybe some rationale as to where this came from. If it's legit, that it didn't come from a source that she introduced herself, and that's usually the most likely case. Um, so she just came back from that band, and this was sort of one of her first races. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
hmm
Yeah. So I guess my topic for today was, is a 4 year ban way too long? In my opinion, it's way too long. I know they want to take it seriously, but in a running career, your career may only be a 4 year window, and it's basically a lifetime ban, um, or damn close to a lifetime ban. Um, yeah, you can come back, and she's come back, and she finished, and she actually qualified for the World Championships that are next month, World Indoor Championships. So that's a great story. I think it's a great comeback story. Other people probably see it as nope. You get what you cheat. You get what you deserve. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, well, you know me, like the rules are the rules, and I don't like a cheater. Um, so yeah, it is kind of tough, right? Because like you're saying, 4 years, it could be the end of your career, right? And she's come back and she seems as good as ever. Um, so it's hard because yeah, like most people once they get caught cheating, they're not saying like, "Yep, I did it," and "Oops, I won't do it again." Right? It's always like you're saying like that excuse. I remember in CrossFit there was an athlete, and I mean, this was years and years ago before we were even into it, but she got caught with something in her system, and she said the same thing like, "Oh, my fiance takes that, and maybe I got it when I kissed him or something," and it's like, come
No, no,
on,
no. Those little
like,
needle marks say otherwise.
right, and it's just like, I'm sure, I don't know what the percentage of accidents are, but I just can't imagine, they're very high. And those were things also, with we talk about with Nike all the time, and Salazar thinking, they're getting tainted with whoever might rub something on them when they're on the field, and
Yep.
all kinds of things. And it's like, yeah, maybe, but like probably not. I think more of the times you're cheating is you're cheating, right? And
Yeah.
I think um
Yeah. I don't think it's always the like poppy seed that's on the bagel that taints your test.
right. And I mean, like Lance Armstrong, as much as that's like a devastating story, like, at this point he denied until it was like, here's the evidence, and he's like, well, yeah, I know, I've been cheating forever.
Yeah.
um and yeah, it is really tough, because I think if there was a way to prove, like, you want to say people who made a mistake or it's an accident, you don't want their career to be over. But if it's, you're able to see how much, and it's like, this had to have been an intentional thing. It's like, yeah, don't mind your career being over. Like, the rules, you thought you could go around them. You're assuming no one else is cheating, right? Because why would you assume everyone's cheating? And you chose to try to work the system, and it just, yeah, I think it's like people switching the bibs, right? It's like, could have been an accident. It's like, but what do you get from winning the 89 to 90-year-old age group? Like, you're
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
yeah.
I agree with that aspect of it. I will say that I just think that 4 years is too long. So I agree with the ban. I agree
Hmm.
there's got to be ramifications. I just think 4 years is way too long. And yeah, I do think there's probably, I mean, I'm going to say that for the most part, that guilty people aren't, sorry, innocent people aren't being banned in this case. I think it's more likely cheaters are getting away with it.
Right.
Um, Only because they know what the tests are. There's so many smart people out there who can design a drug not to be detected in ways around it. So there's more likely cheaters getting away with it than innocent people being banned for life. So I don't know that she's innocent. I'm not going to give her the benefit of that doubt, but I will say that I just think 4 years to end someone's career is way too long.
For sure. And kudos to her then, for, I would hope that there's no illegal substance at this point, and she's just crushing it because she's had those 4 years to work really hard. And maybe that's the perfect amount of time to like really repent on what you did wrong and figure out how to come back better. Justin Gatlin as well, right? I don't Did he have the 4 year ban? I know he was in trouble at one point and came back and still ran pretty fast.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't know how long
Again,
his ban was, but yeah,
always a cheater in my eyes, but you know, uh, yeah, it's hard because you don't, on such an individual circumstance, you want to just be like, yeah, it was an accident. She's a great athlete, or he's a great athlete, whatever it is. But it's just like, if we think about that for everyone, then everyone's just gonna cheat.
yeah.
You get to come
No,
back in
yeah,
a year, they're like, who cares?
yeah. No, agreed. I mean, I think that's the other part of this too is people's reputation gets tainted, which I
Hmm.
think that's totally fair as well, right? I mean, Lance Armstrong
Yeah.
tainted as as he should be. And, Ben Johnson was a sprinter way back in the day, so way before your time, but he was a Canadian sprinter, won the Olympics, and also then ultimately got caught for doping.
Hmm.
And again, it just ruins someone's reputation. Um, so I think there's a punishment there that, again, that shouldn't just be the punishment. So I do think the ban is appropriate. So speaking of bans, so I don't know whether you saw Kenyon's Brimin Kipkorir. I'll say it pronounced that way is
Uh-huh.
Kipkorir. I think it's Kipkorir.
Good career. Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, he won the Australian marathon in 2:06 back in 2024. He was the Frankfurt marathon winner in 2022, 2023. He also just got caught for doping. He's a Kenyan runner. And I think because Kenya is one of the top distance programs in the world, and there has been, I guess, suspicion and allegations, and a number of individuals, I guess, caught doping,
Hmm.
um, that does it taint the entire program? Maybe. I still think they're phenomenal runners, and there's probably just some some bad apples and not the whole program is tainted. But when I was reading that article, what struck me is, they were mentioning another runner from Kenya who was also banned. It was, let's see, her name is Diane Kipyeki. Um, she was stripped of her 2021 Boston Marathon title for doping in 2022 and was handed a 6-year ban.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I'm like that. The only reason for that story is also to say, wow, 6 years for a marathoner. Again, they have a longer probably career than a track person, but man, 6-year ban is again, in my opinion, a lifetime ban, which seems too strong.
Oh, for sure. But
Rules are the rules.
yeah, I mean, right? Like you know what you're doing. And for the most part, again, I'm sure there is some very strange circumstances where you accidentally ingest something or you didn't know or whatever, but for the most part, like you're taking that calculated risk of like, is it worth ruining potentially my reputation, the longevity of my career, my team's reputation, right? Like
Yeah,
yeah, you gotta really think of that when you're like, well, the rules don't apply to me.
yeah, it's interesting. You say team, and it's like, yeah, I just was now thinking that it does taint the brand too. I mean, I guess Nike got a little bit tainted with the Alberto Salazar stuff that was going on, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, if you're representing Brooks or another brand, you're tainting that brand as well, and I'm sure those programs take that very seriously as well. So
Yeah, well, I mean, we even talked about offline. We talked about Camille Herron and that whole scandal not too long ago with the internet.
social media, yeah,
Yeah, all those things, and
Wikipedia.
and her sponsor dropped her because that's not what they stand for, and it's like you do something weird, you are taking that huge risk of, and this doesn't even like help her career. So like that was just we can't even get into it, I'm sure, but
That's
um
a weird. Yeah, that was a really weird one. Yeah, yeah, it does. It impacts your livelihood, not just that you can't race in the future. That hey, you got a sponsor who's giving you income. You no longer have that. So,
right.
and you don't have the ability to make money in what you do. That's a tough one. I mean, you're taking away someone's livelihood.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm soft, Jeff, today.
Yeah. I know. Well, I know you were also soft with Shakari's marijuana infraction years ago. You were like, "Come on," and I'm like, "She knew the rules."
Yeah, come on, marijuana is it happened in football too, where people were just smoking weed and again they're losing their career.
Yeah.
Um, it's like, come on, man. I mean, again, I don't smoke weed, so I don't. It's not like that's some kind of livelihood that I'm part of, but it's like it's not illegal in the U.S. and I think it's got anyway. I won't even go into it.
Yeah, I know. Why did I even bring us here? Are
Yes,
you,
why am I sort of defending marijuana now?
are
It's
you not wearing
fine, just smoke it. It's okay.
That's why you got your addicted sweatshirt. Not on today, though.
Not on today. No, no. All right, so then my last, well, I did watch Grant Fisher's 5K, so it's part of my world record watching videos.
Okay.
I did watch Grant Fisher's 5K indoor world record, and what struck me is I can't believe that there was only one runner that moved to the outside lane or to lane two. That's all he had to move to was lane two to let Grant Fisher pass to the inside. Everyone else made him bounce to the outside, including on an indoor track, right? It's not that big, so you're hitting turns a lot. So you're running a lot
Hmm.
further, a lot being a relative term. But you're running further, and everyone in that race knew it was a world record attempt. They're about to be lapped, and they didn't move to the outside. One runner did, the first runner that was passed, but everybody else made him go to the outside. I realize you can't see him coming. You know he's coming. You
Right.
can look back. You can hear the crowd. You can hear the people clapping as he's coming up on you. It's I just was struck by one is um, the Pacers. They dropped off at the halfway point because, as you can imagine, when you're doing a world record attempt, no one can run that fast.
Right.
So after halfway, he's on his own, and and there was one runner that was, I think it was an Australian or UK or Canadian. I'm not sure which. I'm not sure why all those three countries are sounding the same to me at the moment. But anyway, there was one runner that was sticking with him up to about the halfway point. but after that, he was solely on his own. It was amazing. It was an amazing run.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, I'll have to watch.
Yeah, watch that one. My last running story is a little bit less serious. It's a the title of this article was um, Jeffing in quotes is a training technique that will make your running easier. Here's how to do it. So, and it's an article from February 24th, so it's a current article. And obviously the title itself, Jeffing, and it's just like it sounds, Jeff, as in the name, ing. So
Yeah.
it's like Jeff as a verb, Jeffing. Um, so what is Jeffing? So if you read what Jeffing is, it's it's run, walk, run.
I was gonna say, isn't it just run, walk, run, walk, run,
It
walk?
is run, walk, run, and it
You
was
hate that.
invented by a guy,
Maybe
Jeff
yeah.
Galloway, who was an Olympian, and he came up with this method of run, walk, run. And I guess my sarcastic self was like, I'm sorry. No one came up with run, walk, run. That's just what people do when they get tired. They walk. I
But
mean,
his
I've
thing
been
is like very specific intervals, is it not?
it is. So he made it a little bit more disciplined. Although it's not like it's like written in stone. Here's what it is, because it can be run a minute, walk a minute, run a minute, walk 30 seconds. It can be anything you want. It is, but it's a little more structured than just running till you're tired, walking till you're refreshed, running. But they've written this article as if it's like, here's the benefits. It's injury prevention. It's improved performance. It's improved endurance. It's better racing. Here's how you do it. And again, and if you've ever done a couch to a 5K program, that's built into a Jeffing program. So,
Yeah.
and I know you as a coach, I'm sure it's a great technique to enable people to do longer runs or do longer performances and build up their endurance. So from that standpoint, I can't poo-poo it too much. But to me, no one invented run, walk, run.
I know. He coined that. I think he even has an app, if I remember correctly, that does, there's like a couple different plans on there for his run walk, um, you know, regimen or whatever. So yeah, it is funny that he's gotten to
He's leaned
use
into it,
that.
and they're writing articles 20 years later that he's come up with this concept and technique. And again, because it's got my name associated with it, I'm going to just I'm all for it. So everyone should be Jeffing is what the message is.
Yeah, well, and I think that goes along with like everyone's adoption of like the easy run too, right? Like
Yeah.
that's another way to do an easy run. I think with also the rise of like ultras and people just getting really into like trail runs and things like that, like the alternating between like run, hike, run, being able to complete an ultra with lots of walking in the middle. Yeah, people are really into it. And I know so I don't know if he like has an official deal or what with like Run Disney, but you know how everyone like goes crazy over those Run Disney runs, and he's always there, and not everyone who's there. There's a lot of people there who normally wouldn't complete a race or do a race, and there's a lot of like run walk situations with those races, and it's definitely enabling people who would not normally be athletes to be able to feel like. I think it also just like seems more approachable, right? I think it's hard for us to have perspective as like always runners, but I think sometimes people picture like I want to be a runner, or if I was going to be a runner, I have to be able to go run a whole mile, and I can't even do that. So like someone who's a coach or an official person telling them like, no, you don't run for 30 seconds and then walk for 2 minutes and you did a run. It's like it
Yeah.
does make it way more accessible to people who are not um
No, that part I
who
love.
have
I
that
love
fitness.
I love the concept. From a coaching standpoint, I think it's absolutely perfect. I think from anyone who's going from zero to wanting to run whatever it is, 5K, 10K, mile, whatever it is,
Yeah.
that it's great from that concept. So I'm being sarcastic, but I do think it's a great idea to enable, as you said, enable people who aren't in condition to get in condition. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but no, it is kind of silly that he was able to claim that, right? Like if we started calling the easy runs like the Karagoucher, right? And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
exactly. I mean, maybe we should do that. We should just name it's Coach Tori's method, right? And
right, run easy. Don't get your heart rate too high.
yeah, exactly. All
Yeah.
right, so right now, as we wrap this up, I'm going to just say there's a couple of exciting things happening in track and field right now. So I thought it was a little bit of a lull, but then as I've gotten into it and I've watched a little bit of these U.S. championships, there are a few things on the horizon. One is the World Championships are next month. It, Grand Slam running is starting up, and then I went to their site, and lo and behold, by the way, on May 30th through June 1st in Philadelphia will be
Oh
one
yeah.
of the four events. So
Oh no way.
I don't know whether you want to. Well, I'm going to go to it. This is my invitation to you. If you want to go to it as well, I'll get tickets for the two of us.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the sketch. I guess we can talk about this offline too, because now I'm gonna have to be like babysitting chat and stuff like
No,
that.
no, you got to line up your mom. Your mom's going to do this. My
Yeah,
ex-wife, be your
n-
mom.
no little kids at Grand Slam. I'm sure he wouldn't think it's fun.
Yeah, I would. Again, that's up to you. I mean, listen, I love James, so if he's in it as well, that's great. It's a day to hang out with you and him. But yeah, it's up to you whether you would want to have him at the Grand Slam track and field event.
Yeah, no, that would be so fun. We'll have to make a plan to make that happen for
Yeah,
sure.
so there's four of those events. So for everyone's benefit, it's April in Kingston, and that's in I think Jamaica. No, uh,
Hmm.
yeah, Miami is on May 2nd. Is starting at that one. Philadelphia is May 30th, and then in LA June 27th. So that's my commercial for Grand Slam. This is an unpaid commercial for them.
But if you guys want to pay us,
Yeah, and then the World Outdoors is coming up as well. I guess that's probably in the summer or the fall. So I think
oh
it's an exciting time for track and field right now.
yeah,
Big fan. And then Boston Marathon's coming up, I guess, in May, right? Like that's in the May timeframe. So
yeah, no, lots of I mean, it's spring running season, right? Broad Street soon. They just did the lottery, so if you got in, good luck
I
with your
didn't
training.
apply.
Huh?
I didn't apply this year.
Do you usually?
No, I have run it before, but no,
Oh yeah.
not recently.
Yeah, no, I've never, and probably never will, but you know. All right. Well, this has been fun. Always great to catch up and chat. Make sure that you follow the show, subscribe to the show, share the show with your friends. And if you want more of our chat, check out Raising Runners. There is a bunch of episodes there. You can find that everywhere that you find podcasts.